everybody, and welcome to the Day 3 Daily Roundup here at the Farnborough International Air Show 2024. A really quiet day today, no new orders from Airbus, Boeing or Embraer. However, still plenty of stuff to talk about. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Go. Hello everybody and welcome to the show. We're going to be taking you through all the important updates that come out today at Day 3 of the Farnborough International Air Show 2024. I'm your host Tom. I'm joined once again by our Editor-in-Chief James Field. Welcome again, James. So we're briefly going to go over a couple of the announcements we made today, which was pretty much nothing except for the EVA Air one, if you want to take us through that briefly.
Yeah, so not just EVA Air, but we've also got an order today from ATR, who announced that Air Tahiti is taking 4 72-600 aircraft. And then as for the EVA Air, they've signed an agreement with General Electric for Jenks engines, which will power their upcoming Boeing 787s, which were ordered early this year.
Yeah, and I'd say it's fair to say very quiet day outside of that for orders across the entire board. As you'll probably be able to see in the shot behind us, there's a lot of the static display has departed. We will be uploading footage later on our social media and on our YouTube at the Air India A350, which recently departed about 2 minutes ago, because it is of course working a operational service from London Gatwick tonight. But other than that, from Airbus and Boeing and Embraer, absolutely nothing. No announcements, no confirmations, no product updates. I think it's fair to say this entire week has been a very quiet week for them, and we're expecting to see that just sort of copy into tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. And I think Airbus may have called it a day already, because when we were at the Airbus Media Chalet, we did notice all of the kind of commercial aircraft staff members huddling together for a photo and you know, like a sort of GoPro video, which would indicate that they're preparing their kind of, this is the end of Farnborough for Airbus. So yeah, it looks like they may be done in terms of orders, although we will see tomorrow to see if any last minute orders come through.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, sticking on Airbus for a little bit, we got the chance today to get on board the JetBlue A220, which is here on the static display. It is, from what we understand, due to depart this evening, or even possibly tomorrow evening.
I believe it's actually gone to the other side of the airport for
okay, so it's
immigration,
covering immigration inspections then for its crew before it departs back to the US tonight. That is, of course, one of the main feature pieces that was here on the static display.
Yep.
So I think, you know, as you can see, it is very much that ram down process, as James said there, for Airbus. You can see they're slowly winding down their presence here. But sticking on the JetBlue A220, we managed to get on board. Obviously, very impressive cockpit. There are some footages and video of that now on the screen for you. And we did manage to have a quick look at their A220 Space Saver X seats,
yes,
which I might say are very impressive, particularly for that middle market American feel that they're sort of trying to hit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think from what I've seen on the A220, the product offering is definitely similar to that on the 321neo, if you exclude Mint, in terms of that enhanced comfort, more leg room, everything like that, and it does look really clean in there. The A220 in particular, that's been here at Farnborough, is understood to be JetBlue's 76th Airbus A220 in its fleet. So JetBlue have got quite a lot already.
Yeah, it's fair to say they are a fan favourite, so to speak, of the A220, as are their competitor airline Breeze. But we're not going to stick too much on that. We're going to move briefly on to sort of discuss ATR, because we were with them this morning and we managed to have a look at their brand new offering for business class seating. Now, I think it's fair to say it's a very unique design. It's not something you're likely going to see many of the ATR operators actually bring on board. But I think it's really interesting, not just to see that product, but as we'll discuss in a minute as well, their vision for their market stance and where they sort of see themselves really inserting into that aviation market, and a market so dominated, of course, by the A220 as an example aircraft, and of course by Embraer with their E175s as well, and ATR, of course, going against the Dash 8, etc. But we will get all to that into just a minute. Right now, let's briefly discuss this new business seat product. Were you impressed with it? What were your initial thoughts upon looking at it?
Yeah, I certainly was, and I never thought you could really fit, a premium offering inside a small aircraft like, like the ATR 72, the 42. It is definitely interesting how ATR is going to engineer this, and yeah, it's definitely going to be something exciting for that regional premium market.
Yeah, and I think, as they mentioned, they very much see this product as something that's likely going to be utilised for sports teams or for short delegation or business flights. It's not something you might necessarily see an airline operate service-wide permanently. However, I think the most impressive part of the whole thing was the way that ATR have such designed it, that the entire plane's cabin can be retrofitted overnight, which is really impressive, I think. I mean, that's my personal thoughts. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, again, I do echo what you've said on that, because, as I previously said, putting a premium offering in a small aircraft like that is, it was quite hard to fathom at first, but then obviously when you saw it in real action, then, it was... it was really impressive. And also the mock-ups that they showed us as well on the screen, it is definitely fascinating, and it's definitely workable.
Of course, very busy here in the background. Lots of the delegation are leaving today. Loads of important members of staff that have been here on the trade stands and all that have, of course, departed. And that's something we're going to sort of see continue tomorrow as well, I think. Okay, so we're going to just briefly touch on now the ATR market, which of course we just mentioned at the start there. ATR sort of trying to operate this market that is around the 30,000 passengers per annum. Very interesting that they decided to sort of go for the niche of that market. Now, of course, the Dash 8 is one of their biggest competitors inside of that market range. But what were your initial thoughts on how they're just sort of going to single themselves into that? And of course, we can briefly mention that we did talk to them about, is there any collaboration sort of being done with the European Union? As many of you might well know, the European Union has made a lot of effort in recent years to sort of reduce the carbon footprint of regional travel by shutting down regional services, which is why we've seen such a reduction predominantly in France, if anywhere else, of the Air France domestic fleet, and of course HOP as well, really reducing down their fleet sizes in recent times.
Yes, yeah, for sure. It's definitely an interesting take from ATR, because I almost feel as if they're trying to assert themselves as a monopoly within that market. Yes, we've got other competitors within that market, but what they seem to be doing is something kind of similar to Embraer, in a sense, where they are continually upgrading the aircraft and creating more selling points to then obviously secure those sales. So I think the ATR space is definitely one to watch in the future. I feel like they've got a lot of things up their sleeve in terms of, product enhancements, upgrades, improvements, innovations. So yeah, they are definitely one to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And that pretty much rounds up our roundup, more or less, here. We are going to mention now that is, of course, not all we were able to get into today. We did manage to speak to Deutsche Aircraft, and we've managed to get a sit down with them. It's an exclusive interview where we've got to look at their brand new eco service fleet, and I think it's fair to say it's very impressive from what we've seen. We can't wait to show you guys it. It will be up in a separate video, so you do need to make sure, of course, you are subscribed with the notification bell on so that you do not miss that. We will have clips and highlights put up on our social media. Be sure to check them out. But I think for now, we're going to say our goodbyes. We're going to stay here. We're going to catch the rest of the static displays leaving tonight. The British Airways A320neo is also leaving this evening, as well as the JetBlue. And we will catch you guys tomorrow, where we do have more announcements coming your way, mainly from the Civil Aviation Authority. But all of that to come tomorrow. So don't forget, tune in tomorrow. But for now, it's goodbye from me, goodbye from James, and we'll leave you with a short highlights reel of the day. Goodbye.